bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bring. There it is. It's the Happy Bindi on a Wednesday. Wait for it. Little Happy Roots coming in means the Dodgers get a win.
Gonna have a good.
And semi-dramatic fashion on Tuesday in Cincinnati. 5-4 the final score. Greg, it was a day. We welcome you into the Blue Review presented by LAX. I am Marcus Grant. This is Greg Bergman.
What's happening?
It was kind of an up and down emotional roller coaster of a day for the Dodgers yesterday.
Yeah, it absolutely was. But at the same time, I'm starting to feel like this is the old Dodgers. This is the Dodgers that we come to expect. The first game, they won 5-2, and they had where they were hitting and they were getting on base and they were kind of moving guys around, and the bullpen shut everybody down, and you had Yamamoto kind of just like blowing right by. You felt great about that one. This one was a little bit tougher. You had a lead, and then Glasnow kind of just couldn't find the plate, where he was walking guys left and right and just gave up that home run and just kind of made it so that he gave up 4. But they just came back and then held it down. Honestly, that feels like what the Dodgers have done for this year, and now got the series win. I think that's 3 series out of the last 5. So it's starting to get a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into it in a little more depth in just a bit. But first, I want to give a shout out to the folks at LAX. They are transforming their travel experience, saving guest time. Looking forward to the People Mover train, hopefully up and running early next year. For more information, go to flylx.com/transforminglax. This to me yesterday felt like one of the few really complete games I think this team has played in a while, where, Glasnow came out and looked really good early. I'll say this. He didn't have his best stuff. I think of all the starts he's made since he came off the IL, this was probably the one where he was the shakiest. The command kind of came and went a little bit, but got through the first few innings with very few issues. As you mentioned, kind of ran into some problems in the middle innings there. But the offense showed up, I mean, they struck out a ton early against Lodolo, and that's apparently what Lodolo does. That's also what the Dodgers do. They struck out a ton early, but Edman gets the home run. They figure out a way to rally eventually. Will Smith with the big blow, what turns out to be the game-winning RBI hit, and then the bullpen locks it down the rest of the way. You're right. This feels more like the team we saw back in April and May that was just figuring out ways to win, that was doing just enough. And you were pointing out before we started the show, the Dodgers seem to be getting right at a time where a lot of other teams are kind of running into speed bumps right now.
Yeah, no, everybody is kind of going through it. That everybody is going through this July swoon that's happening for everybody. The Detroit is starting to fall apart. The Mets are starting to lose a bunch of games. The Phillies, the Cubs are falling apart. The Blue Jays are not even playing well and are still moving ahead in the AL East from the Yankees. Red Sox coming up. The Yankees could fall out of the playoff race, which is just wild. Mm-hmm. So it's just, even the Astros are 5-5. Just teams are not hitting their stride right now. And I think that's almost like a good thing for the Dodgers, where they're, again, by the way, second best record in all of baseball again. They're right there behind the Brewers. So despite everything that went crazy wrong, look where they are. They're right back where they're supposed to be. It seems like this team is starting to figure it out. And by the way, just real fast about the game last night, they played to win that game. And I think we've had so many discussions, Marcus, around, this is a punt game. This is a punt game. When they brought in Jack Dreyer for Glasnow, then he went to, and then they said, no, okay, you're only going to get to your 3 batters. Then we're going to bring in Kasperius to finish it out, bring him back, go to Bonda, take out Bonda, make sure to get Diaz. They were playing the bullpen game throughout that to try and give them the best chance to win, and the bullpen shoved all the way through. So that was playing the game to win, opposed to very easily turning it around and saying, nope, this is a game that we're going to just punt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's even more encouraging to see it, because they were down in that game when Robert started making those moves. Because you're right, we've seen so many situations where, they get down a few runs in the middle innings, the starter starts to get tired or whatever, and Dave would run out, a Will Klein and just let him eat a couple of innings, And so to see them actually make these moves, and I think on top of it, to do it knowing that you've got Shohei going today, in that best case scenario, Shohei gives you 4 innings. So knowing that you're still going to have to lean on your bullpen again today, I think is really encouraging. That I think he saw an opportunity to go out and get a win, and he absolutely took it. So that actually is very, very cool. You talk about the fact too that other teams are kind of having their swoon at the moment as the Dodgers are getting right. July's almost over, and you look at the schedule in August, and it is a very, very favorable schedule for the Dodgers in the month of August. I mean, after they leave Cincinnati, they go to Tampa, where the Rays have not really impressed a whole lot. They go see the Cardinals, who have certainly faded, I think, in the last few weeks. The Blue Jays are actually playing really well. So that should be a really interesting weekend series at Dodger Stadium. But, the Angels, I think they want a little bit of get back after getting swept by the Angels at home. I would think it's going to be different. But some of the teams, they got 4 against the Rockies. They've got the Reds again. They've got the D-backs. So there's a real chance for them in August to really make some ground and put themselves ahead of some other teams. So very, very encouraging what we've seen the last couple of days. So I'm going to ask you this, and I said it a little bit joking yesterday at the end of the show, but real talk, Michael Conforto is starting to contribute offensively to this team. I know that defensively he's still a little bit of a circus out there in left field, but he is actually starting to be an offensive contributor, and I am now of the opinion that he's on this team for the duration. I think he's here for the rest of the year.
I think you're right. What the walk that he took in the 9th inning was a massive walk. Like the way that he did it, how long he went. I think it was 10 pitches that he took in that at bat. It just to get to take the walk at the plate. He's actually been really good in July, and I hate being have to say it. The issue that I'm having is, and ask me this. I'll ask you this question: in October, do you feel comfortable with Conforto at the plate?
I mean, not especially. No. I do still think this team makes a move for an outfielder, right? And the name that keeps coming up is Steven Kwan, which, let's say they land Kwan, right? That makes Conforto essentially a bench piece, because at that point your outfield is going to be Kwan, Pages, and Teo. That's what it's going to be. So that means Conforto, I think he's still on the roster. I think he's a bench piece. So, I don't know how many at-bats and how many key at-bats he gets. Like, he's not going to play against left-handers. If anything, he's a late-inning pinch hit, against right-handers sort of guy. He's not going to play the outfield. They're not going to bring him in as a defensive replacement. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think he's going to be some catalyst and have a Tommy Edman-like NLCS. But I do feel better about him now than I did in mid-June, for sure.
Sure. And I mean, I was very much of the opinion that there was zero chance that he was going to be on this roster come August 1st. Zero chance. I didn't think it was going to be possible with the way that he was playing. He turned himself around. I mean, and he's done it for over the last month. If it was just this week, then I don't think that would have worked it out for him. But because it's been over basically about the last month, that Doc and Freeman are going to stick him around for him because of what you said, that he is a late inning replacement of a pinch hitter, somebody that is just that, a pinch hitter in the postseason. And you need somebody that has that. I still don't trust him. I still think he's a mess, but at the plate, he's been really, really good recently. I can't hate on the guy if he's actually doing well. That was always what the whole point of the villain is, right?
Yep.
Is to do it until they're playing well and be like, okay, see, it worked. Okay, now let's move on to somebody else. He just went really, really long in that. So, but over the last month, he has been better, and I think that I'm going to be wrong in this situation, and that he will be on the roster come August 1st.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it through the month of July. 22 games, he's hitting 274, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, slug of 500, 848 OPS. I mean, none of these numbers are all-star caliber. They don't blow you away, but from where he was to where he is now, I mean, the fact that the batting average has climbed all the way up to 195. Right? I mean, he's still not quite hitting his weight. but he's a damn lot closer than he was a couple of weeks ago. So I think that's, I think that's noteworthy. That's all.
It is. And if you look at his over the last 30 days, so basically the month of July, he's batting 274. So that 195 is actually almost 300, and his OPS is over 800, when 750 is league average. 750 is league average. So he's way above league average at 850. You can't be upset with those numbers. His on base percentage is about around 350. He's just been better in the month. You can't say anything about it. He's actually hitting better than Pages over the last month. Yeah. So, and Pages has been great. So I can't hate on a guy like that.
Yeah, for sure. Other news with this roster, no surprise, Haesung Kim is on the injured list. I think they're calling it shoulder bursitis. So he's going to take some time to get healthy, and hopefully just having a few days off helps him kind of get his mind right, because he has been struggling incredibly at the plate over the last few weeks. So he's going to be out for a while, which means, as we talked about yesterday, Alex Freeland is on his way to join the big club. Do we expect he gets a start today?
I could see it being a start today. Because they put him over at third, let Tommy Edman have a time off, because he also was in a situation where he thought about going on the IL as well. He just made it through his workout. So I could totally see him over at third base today to give him a shot. And I hope they give him a little bit of a runway, especially with Kim out, where they can put Edman either at second or at center field and kind of move things around in the outfield. Also, obviously, everything is going to change by tomorrow. It could be either everything's going to change or nothing's going to change. But tomorrow is going to be a ton of fun, and we'll see what the Dodgers do. But Freeland should get a pretty large runway with the injuries that are out there right now. Yeah, unless they make some kind of trade for Kwan, like you were talking about.
Well, yeah. So I was gonna, it's a perfect pivot to that, right? Because the trade deadline is tomorrow afternoon. It hits at 3 p.m. Pacific time, which, by the way, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but if it was, kudos to these scheduling gods that the MLB trade deadline hits at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and the NFL Hall of Fame game kicks off right around 5 Pacific time.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. You get both.
So, we could do the trade deadline thing. Everybody could talk about what happened, just in time to, watch 3 drives of Chargers Lions before they put in a whole bunch of guys you've never heard of before. So,
I don't know if I'll watch even that first 3 drives. That first 3 plays, I have no interest. We're not going to see Jahmyr Gibbs, right? You're not going to see
Jahmyr Gibbs. You're not going to see, Justin Herbert. You're not going to see guys like that.
Waste of time.
I will say that because of my, my other gig, I always have it on in the background, and sort of paying attention to that. But sure. The bigger point, though, the trade deadline is coming. Steven Kwan is a name that really has popped up on the Dodger radar lately. As you sit here right now and have to evaluate what is the percentage chance that Steven Kwan is wearing Dodger blue on August 1st?
I mean, a lot of guys are going to want Steven Kwan, and he's going to cost a little bit. But Steven Kwan is kind of the guy that you would want to give up some. He's under team control for 2 more years. He plays outfield. He's a very good hitter. He's been a Gold Glover out there. He's been, I think did he win a Silver Slugger, or if it was the batting title? I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. But he gets on base pretty consistently. He's a very good baseball player. So if you get that guy, it's kind of like a Tommy Edman type of move to me. And if you the problem is that he's a left fielder. He is not a right fielder. He's a left fielder. So that would keep Teo in right, and that kind of messes with some things in that situation. But either way, I mean, sometimes they can play both, but either way, he is a left fielder. So I would love that move because of the team control, and I would give up pieces for him. If we were looking at what they asked for, you're not going to give up probably everything they asked for, but I would give up a pretty decent chunk of what you got for Steven Kwan, because he's going to make a difference for 3 years.
Would you move Dalton Rushing? Because
yes,
that seems to be the name that's coming up most often. Is Dalton Rushing?
Yes, I would. Dalton Rushing is pretty much blocked, in my opinion, even though he's up here. Will Smith isn't moving to first base anytime soon, and who knows if he does move to first base. So I don't think Dalton Rushing is going to get the amount of time that he needs up here, and you're not going to send him back to AAA. So yes, I would move Dalton Rushing for Steven Kwan.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's the name that keeps coming up quite a bit. I'm sure there are other names that people want. I'm sure, DePaula, Hope, maybe even Freeland are probably names that are going to get tossed around. Are going to get tossed around.
The Hope one is tough. Zaire Hope, he's still so young, and he's
Yeah.
I think he might be in high A now.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, that dude is really good. DePaula, I mean, possibly, because it's kind of, he would take that spot, I feel like. So maybe a DePaula, but not both. You can't do DePaula and do rushing. That's a lot.
That's probably a lot. Yeah. So, I'd be curious to see what kind of package the Dodgers would be willing to put together for a guy like Steven Kwan. The other part, I was thinking about this yesterday. Let's say they do land Kwan. What does that mean for the top of the batting order, right? Because we've seen Mookie really come to life hitting in that leadoff spot. I mean, had a couple of hits again yesterday, scored a run, had a walk. He looks like he's kind of coming back to himself at the top of the order. Kwan has been primarily a leadoff hitter in his career. One of those guys has to move to the number 2 spot. Do you move Betts to the number 2 spot? Do you ask Kwan if he can hit number 2? Or, do you leave Shohei at 2? I mean,
that's the thing.
It's a good problem to have, but it is potentially a problem.
It is a good problem to have, but that's the thing. Are you going to move Shohei further down the lineup? I understand the need, the want for him to be in that 3 spot, because if you have Mookie and Kwan going ahead of him and they're both getting on base, and then you have a chance for 3-run home runs, it all makes so much sense. You're also taking more and more at bats away from Shohei the further you bring him down. And then what do you do with, like, Freddie, and obviously even Teo can move down, and Muncy? That pushes everything. It does push everything down below to being so much stronger. That the fact is, you're gonna have to have like Pajes in the 7 spot. And Edman is looking at like your 8th or 9th spot. That is a killer lineup. But is there a world that you move Kwan down? Or I don't think you ever move Mookie down. Mookie, to me, is showing that once he's in that leadoff spot again, he's all of a sudden, he's just back to kind of himself. And I felt like he was back to himself last night when I know he got thrown out at second on the stolen base, but I love the fact that he went. And now for a second night in a row, now it feels like he's feeling himself. He's feeling good at the plate. He's feeling good on the base pass. That was a positive sign for me that he would even try to take that base. I don't think you move. If you get Kwan, I don't think you move Mookie down. If anything, it's either it goes Mookie, Shohei, and Kwan goes down a little bit to really like lengthen your lineup a crazy amount, or you go Mookie, Kwan, Shohei.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Mookie, Kwan, Shohei, but that's also, we had Richard Jacobs on yesterday as our guest, and he talked about sort of being old school of having a guy like Shohei, or having Freddie hit in the number 2 spot, having Shohei hit 3rd, and I sort of feel that too, right? I feel that having Betts as your pure leadoff hitter, having Kwan as your guy who makes contact, who can either get on base, ideally get on base, but if nothing else, make productive outs, right? To get the runners over and get them in scoring position for Shohei. Like, it's not the way lineups are constructed nowadays. I mean, in this current era of baseball, it's not, but I still feel like it's a winning formula. And I feel like if you were able to get a guy like Steven Kwan, you can do that and have some success. So I don't know. It's fun to talk about. Maybe we have to talk about it for real.
That would be amazing. We'll find out tomorrow if we can talk about it for real. But there's a lot of different options there, and that is the typical way. Even the Yankees moved Judge down in the lineup. He was batting leadoff, and they moved him back down at different times. So this seems like if you can have that Mookie, Kwan, Shohei. And by the way, I'm looking at the chat while you're talking too, and people, Mr. Classic is just amazing to me. He's talking about moving Shohei down to the 6th spot, and that he deserves the 6th spot because he had the golden sombrero pretty much yesterday. I mean, that was bad. He strikes out a lot, but Shohei will never be out of the top 3.
He's never going to hit out of the top 3. Like,
there's no way.
You need Shohei hitting in the 1st inning. That's it. You just want him hitting in the 1st inning. That's all.
Like I get that he's been striking out. He strikes out a ton. I get it. But at the same time, there's nobody that can do what he can do in this game right now. Period. End of story. There's nobody at the level of, I mean, Aaron Judge is that kind of guy, but Shohei is on a whole nother level. So
there's zero chance he moves out of the top 3
no
slot in the order. I mean, the reason they put him obviously leadoff was partially because Mookie got hurt and was going to be out for a while. But he stayed there because, one, he was hitting incredibly well, and also you are just going to naturally get more at bats. I mean, that's just the way things work. You're going to get more ABs in that leadoff spot, and Dave Roberts, understandably, wanted to maximize maybe the greatest hitter in the game, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the farthest he will fall in the batting order is
three.
That's
three.
it. That's
I would never even put him in the cleanup spot, just for the fact that you're talking about that you need him to be hitting always in the first inning. He needs to be in there. He needs to get as many bats as possible. If you move him down to 3, that you're already taking away, I think it's like 50 to 75 at bats over the course of the year. So you want to see him as much as possible.
Yeah, you want to see him as much as possible. You want to see him. I mean, look, the idea of having him at second or third hopefully maximizes him hitting with guys on base. Whereas you hit him fourth, you know, how many times is he coming up to lead off an inning? You know, I just think you're trying to maximize your opportunities there for sure. So,
right.
Game 3 of the series against the Reds this afternoon. I was wondering at first if it was going to be an early start, but it is not. It is going to be another 4:10 first pitch from Great American Ballpark. I don't know about you. I'm tired of them playing in these little bandbox parks. Like, I was tired of watching the Red Sox bang it off the monster out there. That place looks so tiny on television.
I know, it's annoying.
It's you know, and then watching. Look, I'm glad Edman went oppo for the home run, but also the home run that Glasnow gave up to Marte.
Like, yeah.
Off the bat, I'm like, well, okay, that's extra bases, but I'm like, wow, it left. You know, I want them to go to a real ballpark. That's all.
Right. No, I'm totally with you. These little AL ballparks are that was an NL ballpark, but either way, these little teeny tiny ballparks are very, very frustrating. But then there's the opposite. Then there's a Coors Field that's just gigantic,
right?
that you feel so bad about. Like, all ballparks are a very strange thing. You got to deal with what you got. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't like these teeny tiny ballparks. Yankee Stadium too, by the way. The little tiny short porch in right field is ridiculous.
Just hitting pop-ups to right field, man, and getting them out. Just annoying.
It did help Freddie in the postseason.
So it helped Freddie in the postseason. Look, yeah, I mean, I'm complaining about it, but it helped Tommy Edman for sure. Yes,
right. Yes, sure did.
Because that ball doesn't leave in a lot of places that he hit yesterday. Shohei on the mound today.
Yes, sir.
4 innings out of Shohei. They're starting to stretch him out a little bit more. So looking forward to seeing him for 4 innings. I think the other part of this, though, too, Greg, is that it feels like he's getting into a rhythm of not just pitching, but also hitting. I know he took the show for 5 yesterday, but it feels like the last couple times he's taken the mound. Yeah.
I like it.
Off the cuff. It's like the last couple times that he's taken the mound, the offense hasn't suffered quite as much as well. So maybe he's just starting to get comfortable with everything, which is good.
Yeah, it was always going to happen. Like, he wasn't going to not hit every time that that he pitches. It just wasn't going to happen. The fact that he is going to go 4, and then eventually he's going to go 4 this time. He's supposed to go 4 next time. I don't know when the plan is to move him up to 5, but he's going to eventually get to 5, 6, and that makes this team. I put it up somewhere, like, it could be amazing, but I put it up on social media yesterday. Other teams in Major League Baseball should be scared right now, because look at what your lineup is going to, or your starting rotation is going to be. It's going to be, yes, on Monday it was Yamamoto, Tuesday was Glasnow, Wednesday is Shohei, Friday is Kershaw, Saturday is going to be Snell most likely, Sunday is Yamamoto, and then it goes back down to, so it's going to be Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Shohei, Kershaw. That is tough to get through on a daily basis. Like, any series, you should win every series with that starting rotation.
I mean, it's wild when you look at it, and like, at least on paper, the air quotes weak link is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
You know,
what it means.
That's kind of.
And
wild.
then you got like a Dustin May, maybe, or an Emmett Sheehan or Justin Robleski to back up Shohei if he only goes 4.
Yeah.
Or if he gets up to 5. Like, it's pretty incredible what's going on right now.
It took pretty much 4 months, but the Dodger lineup is coming together the way we anticipated it would way back in spring training, and that feels like bad news for everybody else around Major League Baseball for sure. All right, Dodgers going for the sweep this afternoon. Looking forward to it. We'll be back to talk about it tomorrow here on the Blue Review. Thanks to everybody in the chat as always. We appreciate your participation and chiming in. Thanks to the folks at LAX. Stick around. First pitch coming up with Greg Bergman, Travis, and DeMarco here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Thanks to Anthony Jex for holding it down. Apparently, Parker is heading towards San Diego to go hang out with Sea Life. So the Navy Roots taking us out. Back with you tomorrow, 8:30, 8:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel for the Blue Review presented by LAX. Go Blue. We'll see you then.
Hey, see ya.